Now, what you need to do, as unlikely as it may be, as you bear in mind that a part of you is made of light, is download this Light Hole Network book by Rakesh Chowdhury, or at least read the review, and juxtapose the overarching concept in this book to the network and light-based science and technologies that are now or will soon be flashing by on your screen. With this interconnected universe theory book by Ervin Laszlo, here to help us out by postulating that the universe is interconnected. With us for now focusing on what are called photonic and optical networks, which include what are called photonic networks for intra-chip and inter-chip and box interconnects for high performance computing. With scientists working for Scientific American magazine here to help us out by asserting that black holes are computers, thereby rendering them the main components in the photonic/optical network on chip computing device we call the universe. Perhaps. With the photons generated by the quadrillions of suns in our universe, like our own sun coming into play here, with the sun and earth literally being photonically interconnected, as we can see in this picture, just like components in some kind of interconnected optical/photonic computing system. With black hole computers like the one at the center of our Milky Way galaxy falling into place here in many ways. As a primary linchpin of this video, especially when we consider that the gravitationally induced photon spear around a black hole is pulling in photons and other matter into these black holes that also supposedly connect different regions of space. Just like the optical and photonic interconnects and networks in these network-on-chip devices connect different regions of these devices. I also included some random examples of non-light-based technology networks and principles thereof, so you can see the similarities in these comparisons, including standard computer networks and radio networks and internet networks and so forth, compared to black hole and wormhole and white hole structures, which to me look and behave like the technologies we are comparing them to, without using your imagination too hard. Which brings us to what are called the cosmic Birkeland filaments, which have everything to do with the electric universe theory, whereby these filaments are the cosmic equivalent of interconnected circuits of electric plasma that supposedly permeate and crisscross the universe, connecting and helping to power everything from galaxies to suns to planets to moons to atoms, while also integrating them into a singular unit we call the universe, with the so-called light hole network also doing its part to interconnect the universe, as already discussed. As just another layer in a universe that appears to specifically be playing the role as what is called a hybrid network on chip, which are chips that involve a combination of optical, photonic, and electrical circuitry built onto a singular chip. With our networked and interconnected universe appearing to be a much larger version of one of these network-on-chip devices. Another similarity between technology and the universe is that the chemical element silicon is one of the most abundant hard atomic elements in the universe, including within the fabric of space, as well as inside the stars and planets like our Sun and the Earth. And as far as I am concerned, they all contain enough silicon for me to compare them to silicon-based network-on-chip devices and other technologies that are made of silicon. And this technology would include the kind of light-emitting diodes and LED lasers of the type used in the technologies you are seeing in this video, including what are called dual-mode electrophotonic silicon biosensors, as well as technologies related to silicon photonics and high-performance silicon computing, and so on and so forth. I have to stop somewhere. It is also significant that our bodies are also made with silicon in trace amounts that we absorb from the minerals in Earth's soil and water via the food chain. I think the silicon is little more than a biological manifestation of these silicon-based photonics technologies that would include the biophotonic components of our bodies. That is the part of our bodies that are made of light, which are likely part of some kind of biophotonic computing grid we call the universe. And with this book here by Professor Waheed postulating that the universe is some kind of computer, as we also consider that scientists are now simulating the universe inside supercomputers, with us bearing in mind that computer systems of any kind involve electronic networks that are comprised of circuits and components, let us now compare the architecture of what are called network-on-chip devices to the two-dimensional, large-scale structure of the universe, just so you can see with your own eyes the abstract similarities between the organization of the stars in space compared to the organization of the components within these generic network-on-chip devices. These devices have applications in real-time computation and video gaming and particle swarm tracking, etc. These network-on-chip devices in part help scientists form heuristic computer models of the complex behavior of organisms and other matter, including sociological and genetic interactions over long periods of time in large population pools, in what are several applications of network-on-chip devices. And this would include what are called multi-core network-on-chip devices, as we bear in mind that the planets and galaxies and other heavenly bodies harbor cores inside them. In addition to being distributed like the components in these network-on-chip devices. And with us not forgetting that black holes are supposedly computers that supposedly riddle the universe, in addition to residing at the center of galaxies and star clusters, in addition to existing in clusters of black holes, we must consider that cluster computing architecture is built into network-on-chip devices, insofar that the galaxies themselves are organized into networks of clusters and superclusters of galaxies, with each galaxy harboring one or more black holes at and near their center, as an abstract mirror image of the clustering architecture of these network-on-chip devices. Which involve things like cores and thermal dynamics, that involve heating and cooling, not unlike like that of which supposedly exists in galaxies and clusters of galaxies, where temperature fluctuates, and where temperature apparently matters as much as the temperature in electronic systems of any kind. In case you haven't figured it out yet, one of the main points of this video is that the bits and pieces of the universe appear to possess the characteristics of the technologies we are comparing the bits and pieces of the universe to. With the language of computer technology and astrophysics overlapping into each other, as well as into the realm of metaphysics, if we take these comparisons seriously. With the invisible biophotonic light produced by the cells and electricity in our bodies being a manifestation of the collision of light-based science and technologies and metaphysics, including UFO lore that somehow involves light, which is exactly the same type of light waves, respectively, generated and reflected by the stars like our sun and planets and moons, with other forms of light also emitted from space, such as from black holes, supposedly, that apparently generate and absorb light simultaneously, as what perhaps could be a manifestation of light-based computing, as we bear in mind once again that black holes are supposedly prisons of light, as well as computers, with the universe in part appearing to be playing the role as of some kind of light-based / photonic computer system / network-on-chip device, or something along those lines, where data is transmitted to and from its various components via light waves. This could mean that when, after you die, your photonic component is transmitted through the so-called tunnel of light to a digital destination that perhaps involves black hole computers, including what is called quantum computing, quantum tunneling, and resonant tunneling, photonics, to name a few tunneling technologies that might explain the so-called tunnel of light, with black holes once again falling into place here, but juxtaposed to what are called infrared black receiver optical diodes, which are sensors of light, as you bear in mind that white holes are supposedly black holes in reverse, according to Albert Einstein. With these white light emitting diodes, aka LEDs, falling nicely into place here, as perhaps the functional opposite of black diodes, with black and white holes perhaps playing these and other roles. And with you noticing here the whole structure in this awesome example of what are called quantum dot-based light-emitting diodes, which I am not going to go into, while juxtaposing this concept to the so-called white hole in time in this book here, which might be the geographic location of so-called heaven, with its polar opposite, the black hole at the beginning of time, where most of us are likely to end up, is probably nothing less than hell, if such a place exists. This in part means perhaps that white and black holes and white and black receiver diodes and light emitting diodes, respectively, in my mind, appear to be functionally and visually similar enough to each other as not to be dismissed as coincidence. As dialectical opposites that correspond not only to each other but also to the white and black aura colors of humans, as you bear in mind that black and white auras are manifestations of dialectically opposing personality types. With this book here by Mike Hockney, here to scare us by postulating that black holes are souls, which is a scary concept, especially when we include these black and white virtual reality suits compared to black and white holes, compared to black and white aura colors and LED and diode receiver and emitters. And with this poem here, that we are supposedly stars wrapped in skin, is kind of scary, juxtaposed to the concepts that I am juxtaposing these concepts to. With light emitting diodes coming in as many different main colors as the colors of the auras and chakras generated by our bodies and mind, compared to multicolored virtual reality suits compared to the colors of the stars, where this colored light from the stars as well as the light from everything we see around us is converging in the optic nerves in our eye before it even hits the optical cortex of our brain, as nothing more than photons that I suspect in part might have something to do with virtual reality technology, either for us specifically and or for somebody or something else whose virtual reality experience or experiences would have to in part be facilitated through planetary physics and perhaps lunar physics merged with biology, if we take these comparisons seriously. And if you like this video, then share and subscribe and hit the like and notification buttons. And click the link or links I might have included if you want to further explore my cybernetic universe technoverse theory.